Hey guys, welcome back or welcome if you're new to Corey's Nail Diary. We talk about books, nails, and everything in between. Today I have a very exciting video for you guys, something I've wanted to talk about for so long, so let's get right into it. Now you guys, I know that you know that I know that I'm not exactly a fantasy reader. I mean, let's be honest here. Growing up, I read Harry Potter, I tried Percy Jackson, but the moment I wasn't feeling The Lightning Thief is the same moment that I learned the romance genre was even a thing. And let me just tell you, I have not looked back. Well, let's just say there is one book that might have changed my mind, which is so crazy to say, by the way. If you don't already know, this series is called A Court of Thorns and Roses, and it's by Sarah J. Maas, who is a very big romance fantasy, famous author, basically. Her books, specifically A Court of Thorns and Roses, has gone viral on TikTok multiple times. The biggest time was during the worldwide pandemic, and somehow I wasn't on BookTok then. I wish I was, to be honest. I wish I started this all sooner, but I wasn't. And everybody had been telling me, you need to read ACOTAR, you need to read ACOTAR. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to like it. I didn't finish Percy Jackson. Like, there's no way I can like it. I'm here to tell you that I was wrong. Yeah, I admit it. I was wrong, okay? It took my boyfriend's brother's girlfriend, Ava, talking me into it to actually get me into this book. So I guess without further ado, we're gonna get into my review of ACOTAR, the entire series. That being said, if you have not read this series, I'm going to warn you in advance here that there will be spoilers because there's just no way to talk about any book after the first book without giving anything away. If you have not read these books, go to this time code. And then if you have, you can keep listening here, basically. Okay, so we'll start with our tried and our true right here, A Court of Thorns and Roses. I will say, I started this book over the summer. I had found this book actually in a little library. I didn't even pay for this book. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. I'll try it, right? I was more or less doing it, like trying it out so that I could tell my boyfriend's brother's girlfriend, I tried it, I didn't like it, you're wrong, you know? I read this in I think 2 or 3 days. I'm not even kidding you. This book as a whole, I wasn't like a huge fan of it, but I was like, I really want to at least give it a chance. So you meet your main character, Feyre Archeron. She kills what she thinks is a wolf in the forest, and then enters this like beautiful man, Tamlin, who's like, I don't believe in the death sentence, so you can just come and live with me instead as my prisoner. Okay, all right, cool, interesting. So basically Feyre goes into it and she starts living with him. She like finds him attractive, and yeah, then this like weird thing happens. I read these over the summer, so I'm sorry if my summary isn't great. Then she finds out that there's this other woman who more or less is holding Tamlin prison, and after a certain amount of time, she basically was like, if nobody says they love you, you have to be sworn to me. And it becomes this whole different story about Feyre having to prove how much she loves Tamlin by going through these like grueling processes, these trials basically. But she's the only one going at it. So while she's basically incarcerated underneath a mountain, this other man, the most beautiful man you've ever seen in your entire life, a dark, handsome fairy, his name's Rhysand, comes downstairs and more or less helps her. He heals her, he tells her, he basically keeps her alive, to be honest with you, because I feel like there's parts of the time underneath the mountain where like she's not really alive anymore. But ultimately, she basically ends up proving her love for Tamlin, which I'm like, okay. I feel like, okay, sure, whatever. I like him, I guess. That's cool. I was very meh about this book. I rated it 3.5 stars. I was like, okay, like I get it, but I don't get it. You know what I mean? Then, I will say if you've read this book, you know what that look was for. So basically this book begins with Feyre and Tamlin going to get married and Ryzan swoops in and saves the day and steals her away because she's like in her head being like, someone help me, because Tamlin isn't letting her leave the freaking house. Like, what? This book, she basically finds out that the grass is greener other places, so her and Ryzan can have their happily ever after together, just the two of them. And his friends, of course. So basically, this book is all about Ryzan fighting for her and like acknowledging to Tamlin like, oh, she's not your girl anymore. Then at the end, these two literally, okay, they find out that they're mates, and then behind closed doors, they marry, so she becomes the High Lady of the Night Court. But at the end, Fury lies to freaking Tamlin and ends up going back to the Spring Court with Tamlin. So then, as a war tactic, that's how this book begins, with Fieri living in the Spring Court, but actually telling her husband Ryzan, who she can talk to through her head, what's going on the inside. Like, these books are just so clever. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you. This book, I will say, was the most fantasy out of all of them and did lose me multiple times. Because I was like, I'm here for the romance. Like, I'm being real with you. I'm here for the romance. That being said, this one was really enjoyable because you really got to see like Fury's sisters, both Elaine and Nesta, come into play here, and Nesta kind of becomes like a badass. This book is a war book, to be honest with you. This is mostly a war book. So like they go to war, cool, ending is fine, wraps up nicely. Now, some people call this the most useless book in the entire world. It depends how you look at it. For me, I liked this book because it was so calm and cozy, but nothing happens in this book. Not a single thing happens. It's just kind of like, I think the point of this book was mostly so that you can be reading the story from a different point of view. So far, all we have had is Fury's point of view. So like in this book, you get to read as Ryzan for a little bit. So I feel like it's a good precursor to the final, there's another one coming, but final book so far, and that's Silver Flames, because this book is told from Nesta's point of view. I will say I have a love-hate relationship with this book because we're reading it from Nesta's point of view. Ryzan comes off as like a dick, and I don't like that. And the reason I didn't like this one as much is because I didn't like the way it portrayed Fury and Ryzan. Plain and simple. This book though is all about Fury's sister Nesta basically coming into the Night Court and like learning how to become a warrior with one of Ryzan's friends, Cassian, and it's just really cute. It's a love story between them. I really liked that. I think that she's like our most powerful character, low-key, when like before they thought Fury was. So I definitely see how this one is like lining up for the next set of it. That being said, I did not love what happened to Fury and Ryzan in this book. So yeah, I've explained them all, so I'm gonna give you my actual opinion on all of them, basically. I didn't go into this as a fantasy reader, but these books proved to me that maybe I'm not just strictly a contemporary romance type of girl. I think that these books, when it comes to romantasy as a whole, are on the line that leans more romance. And I will say that the last one, especially from Nesta's point of view, that one was very smutty. So like, okay, like they all are, but like that one was really, you know what I mean? And I feel like it had enough romance, but like enough fantasy where I'm able to like understand like, oh, these are fairies, this is how their world works. But also like I was able to read this whole book and I could have been more confused, if that makes sense. I could have been more confused. So that's the end of my review for people that have actually read these books. And here is my review for the people that haven't read these books. If you haven't read these books and you're a little confused as to like, what's going on? Why did I have to skip half this video? I don't understand why this book is like so loved by everybody. Let me explain it in this way for you, okay? This book is basically a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. You think you love this character. He is literally a wolf, but he's like a werewolf shifter, like think Twilight. Honestly, I got Twilight vibes from like all of these books. So like if you liked Twilight, I guess I can compare this to Twilight. This is like the first Twilight. No, this is not like the first Twilight. This book has no love triangle yet, really. But it becomes one near the end of the book, which is cool. Yeah. The world building in these books is like, it's definitely world building, but it's not confusing. So if I can understand it, and like I never finished any fantasy books ever, I promise you can too. That being said, let me tell you what I wish people would have told me before starting this series. This book, everybody says that this series is like the best thing in the entire world. Do not quote that on this book. This book is actually one of the worst out of all of them. The book out of all of them that is the best is this one. If you can get through the first, go to the second. And I wholeheartedly mean that, because this book is really just setting up this book. I will also say that if you are strictly a romance reader and you just want to try it out, maybe stop at the end of this book. Listen, I'm only saying that because this one is very war heavy. Like this one, if you do the acronym, it's literally ACO war. So you're not gonna miss much of this. Like this wraps up nice enough, if that makes sense. This one, people say is unnecessary. It's up to you if you wanna read this. Some people call it the Christmas special. Up to you. Now, I want you to do me a huge favor. If you make it this far, I need you to remember that these are two separate books, okay? This is from a different point of view than this book. That is all I can say without giving anything away to you. I think that you should at least try ACOTAR if you haven't read it before. I obviously will not know if you're gonna like it or not, but I hope you do, and I hope you end up in a situation that is similar to me. All right, and that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know if you've read these books in the comments down below. Have you read all of them? Are you excited for the next one? Let me know. Go and follow me on both Instagram and TikTok as Corey's Nail Diary. Please subscribe to my channel and like this video if you like this content, and I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.